Oh, well, hello everyone. How's it going? This is your boy Leon with episode 229 of the Leon the Great podcast. And welcome in all aboard, everyone. So, as you guys may know, or that I've taken this long break because, there's so much been happening with the realms of the internet. And this is one thing I cannot stand when things are being encroached. And today we're going to get into the recent things that's been happening in the interwebs. And as you guys may or may not heard, which I'm sure most of you have heard about this at this point, and some of you have not, but it is time to talk about this because it's very important that we do. And it is important that we do speak upon issues like this as very, very important like this. So first and foremost, let's get on to today's sponsor of the video before I get onto the main story, which to me, the end of the era of YouTube. And this is why I'm going to talk about this in a more extensive matter, because a lot of people are talking about this online, and I did my video this week as well, and I've got it posted. And I'll say though, still, I'm not happy what's been going on. Ooh, oh boy. Anyways, the one thing I wanted to keep in memory is, while I'm not a musician, one thing I'm gonna say is, rest in peace to the legendary Ozzy Osbourne. Gosh, he's been one of my idols, and I can't say enough. And the guy that invented heavy metal. So that's one of the things I wanted to say out of my chest before I continue with the topic of episode 229, the end of the era of YouTube, because it is what it is right now. So let's go ahead and speak upon these issues. First is first. Sponsorship time. First and foremost, with the crazy situation that's been happening for at least some time now, I want to go ahead and change my sponsorships from the beginning, even though I would always talk about Zennies. First and foremost, I wanted to bring up ExpressVPN. With the crazy world that we live in right now, and while I know that there's going to be governments are looking to find a way to ban VPNs, for all of you guys that are looking to protect yourself in this crazy modern day world, while there are folks out there that are looking to protect themselves and not to submit to government bullshit, I would say ExpressVPN is one I'll be using in the foreseeable future as well, including other VPNs as well. And currently, I would tell you is that ExpressVPN is nothing but good. And as I've tried it in the past, I've used it in the past myself, ExpressVPN is something I would use a lot, even with things happening today. Because honestly, it doesn't matter what day and age you are living in. I do not trust governments 100%, because governments are sleazy and they're scummy, and they want your erode your privacy and your freedom of speech. With VPNs, it'll protect your privacy. Now, for all I can say is, check out the sponsorship, which is VPN, ExpressVPN. If you like it, great. If not, at least you're giving this trial a try. So, what are you waiting for? I mean, it's 30 days, so you can just give this a shot. If you don't like it, you can always sign out. But with that said, let's get on into today's episode of the Leon the Great podcast, 229. So today's topic, I wanted to go over on a topic that I think, as everyone knows, that this point, almost every creator on YouTube is talking about internet censorship. Whether it would be the tech side or gamers talking about what's been happening currently with payment processors such as Visa or MasterCard, for that instance. I would tell you right there is that things have started to become very loony and bananas over the weeks I've been keeping up. It's been bonkers. And also, with the YouTube censorship has been extremely insane to this point, though, that it's hard to catch up. And with Master and Visa card, I will tell you that geez, I will tell you that I'm not happy what's been happening over the times that I've been keeping up with the news cycle. And, just as over 2 weeks ago that we got through the deaths of musicians and a wrestler like Hulk Hogan, and then after those 2 weeks, things the news cycle has been flying by so fast. And very honestly, like when I've gone over and done my first YouTube video in a very long time, and I have to say though, while I don't have the confidence to talk about this, for me, I was encouraged to do something like this because I don't want to sit in the sidelines uh, and then expect a miracle to show up all of a sudden. And it's time to take action what's been happening. Because it's like if you do not do your due diligence to protect your rights and your digital freedoms, you know what? Somebody will take it away from you. And which is, by the way, private companies and governments. That is why the government is this point insane all over the world. I mean, it's not just the United Kingdom, because I know the United Kingdom have already passed laws already at this point where your privacy is already intrusive, and to a point that there's been people that are looking to fight back over repealing the Online Safety Act over in the UK. While there's the repeals had about 400,000 repeals from its UK citizens alone. And pretty much to put it down this way, what the government really said in their faces is that while they've gone over the repeal, but it looks like they're not going to even go about and talk about listening to their constituents. And that is just bloody awful. And I'm just using this because it is pretty awful what the government is doing, ignoring their citizens over anything else. It is the shittiest way I've been seeing this from afar, even as an American. And even though I don't talk about politics, but when you are to a point that you're infringing the First Amendment and the right to privacy being taken away and eroded, that's when you have to ask yourself, what is this all about? What is this that these companies are doing? Eroding my right to browse what I want to browse. Because first of all, I'm sure many of you have read 1984 by George Orwell. Well, I'll tell you that I have. And first of all, I know a lot of people talked about Big Brother. Big Brother, the enemy of the state. Pretty much the all-seeing eye. And to me, this is not just because of Big Brother. I refer the government as big parent, or being like the biggest nanny to all the adults out there. I mean, first of all, when I was talked upon this by my friend in the UK. I mean, he's mentioned this to me, and I know that at some point there's going to be a point that it's going to go across the ponds on every continent at this point. And you're seeing this now with rules in the United States, and as I mentioned in my YouTube video, in New Zealand, Australia, which is the biggest perpetrator on that. So by all means, they are enabling this, 100% enabling these disgusting bills in place. And then the awful part about this. So Canada, UK, US, New Zealand, Australia, those big English-speaking Five Eyes countries. And then now the EU is going to do something similar as well. And while I say that there's going to be citizens going to be standing upon this, because I will tell you is I will not give in. If they ask for my government ID, I will not give in. And just imagine all the websites that you visit all the time. I mean, it doesn't have to be social media. I mean, imagine going over to each individual websites, having to give out your government ID just for the sake of safety, right? Because these bills do nothing to protect the children. And me and a friend, my UK British friend there, Michael, and he's a co-host of Anonymous Airwaves, and I've talked about this with him privately, and this is one thing I've said about what's been happening out there is, first of all, you got these COSA bills and then these online protection acts to protect the children in order to protect the younglings. You see, and this is the problem with governments is that they think they are doing righteous by creating these bills, thinking that they're going to do good. And that's the problem about governments is that they think they're doing good. And the quote continues to come out of my mouth, and I'm going to continue repeating this because just because you may think you're doing good, the results will come in really bad. And this quote that I remember hearing, and I remember saying this repeatedly to other people, is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And just because you think you're doing good intentions by protecting, the children, that doesn't mean that you are doing things the right way. Because I do think when it comes to online, first of all, no denying, I do care about the children. Okay, that's not the problem. I genuinely do think that the children is important to keep them safe. But the way you're doing this by these policies is not the way to go. And this is not just an opinion, a one streak opinion coming out from me. This is just a fact that you think that you're gonna continue to be safe under the guise of safety. I'm sorry, this is not how it goes. And then in the UK, looking over is the privacy. That's the privacy, but the First Amendment, which is not. There's no First Amendment in the UK anymore, and no privacy, at all. And this is a problem with, I find, crappy governments like the United Kingdom is, they do not know how to protect their citizens. It's shit. It's absolutely a shithole at this point. And look, it's not just the UK, and I know that I'm gonna knock people out of this too. But you got so many countries like these countries like mines, like the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and then other parts of the world are just becoming just the rest of the shitholes that they are, and just screwing their governments as well. I cannot stand this bullshit. And also and also the other personal thing I'm gonna just put out there because it frustrates me to the core, which it should frustrate all of you to the core at this point, because that is the problem. Is they think they want to do this because all these politicians want to do is pat themselves in the back, because all they want is they want to secure their pocketbooks. That is all. But as someone that lives in the United States, first of all, I never asked for these bills. Somebody just brought them up because they think they genuinely care, but which in reality they do not give a shit. That's one thing I have an issue with, and I think they are taking it this far. And this is by all means is that, first of all, the fight doesn't stop when you go out and call Visa or MasterCard. It doesn't stop when you're throwing letters to private companies or fax mails to say and voice your opinions to these private companies. Oh, no. First of all, it all goes down to keeping the fight going and taking it by the heart of the problem, which is the government. That's the most tragic thing that we're we're seeing, it's not just a slow, painful death to even people living in these so-called free first world countries, which in my take, these so quote unquote first world countries are becoming the third world shitholes. Really, look, and when you people think that China was just as bad, whew, forget about it. It's gonna get worse for the digital age, the culture of the on the internet. I do not like it. It's the biggest piece of shit too, with internet censorship. And censorship have never worked in throughout history, and this is why I'm saying this is pretty much book burning, by the fact that these politicians wants to control everything by crazy strict protectionisms that it shouldn't have in the first place. And the news of the day, I wanted to bring this up because this was big back a few days ago. This is on Wired.com, and this is written by Lily Hay Newman and Matt Burgess on Security Trend, which was written back in July 29th, 2025. Age verification laws send VPN use soaring and threaten the open internet. A law requiring UK internet users to verify their age to access adult content has led to a huge surge in VPN downloads and has experts worry about the future of the free expression online, which is quite correct. And because I'm worried about the free expression on there too. And this is why I came in to the internet in the first place, because that was the biggest escape to reality. And now we're looking at this the other way. So, and also that too, I'm not just going at it and knocking on the UK for a sec. First of all, I've talked about this extensively on my video on YouTube. And so over on my channel, as I've talked about this too, I've mentioned I've bought into Proton VPN. I've used it several times. Works great. And VPNs are, at this point, it's going to be the way to go. Now, if you go for VPN, don't go for free VPNs. There's a lot of issues right there, and it has a lot of privacy issues. Paid VPNs are the way to go. It has better services, and it protects you 100%. So please get involved with paid VPNs. Doesn't matter where you go, because I have Proton VPN, and others have other VPNs for their own usage as well. So you could just take it for what it is, really. But I will tell you is there are more surging VPNs are going to be coming in the United States as well, because there are certain states right now. While I'm not like a heavy porn user, I will tell you right there is that, first of all, what gives the government the right to cut off the internet? And first of all, I'm not just saying just guys looking at porn, but holy crap, you got women looking at that shit too, where it's absurd. And also the crazy thing, when I go on just regular internet, unprotected, you go to the orange and black hub known as Pornhub. Everyone knows what that is. And and you know that when you go and enter in the website, first thing you see is it'll say sorry, you're not able to go in the website or have access to it. You're gonna have to talk to your local representatives about this, because they're doing this because of the sake of protecting the children, and that's basically what it is. And if you read on their main page, because in my state, the orange and black hub is blocked of according to my state. My state thought that this website is highly dangerous. So yeah, that's stupid. But even though I don't look at that crap all the time, and there are other places out there. In fact, there are other other and worse, raunchiest shit out on the interwebs too. Which I will tell you still, why is it something that they gotta target porn after all this? But you know what? I've just, and also where I look on the surge in VPNs, uh, what have happened in the recent last week, you know that even a lot of people knew that this was gonna happen one of these days, and the open internet, it will continue to be threatened by new enemies and invasions from your own homeland, and that's currently what we're seeing in our own very eyes, what we're looking over to. And as someone that have been a big supporter of the open internet, this is wild that this isn't just something that's going on in like places in Egypt or a crazy country like China. Nothing like that. No. This is happening in the pretty much mostly in the free world, which the so-called free world really. And that's the issue with these, and the ones that are blocking the adult content. And I'm not just talking about pornography. No, I'm talking about just the more of the not safe for work content. Like for instance, the issues we're seeing where Steam had to bent down in order for their card operations like Master or Visa card to continue, because they were given a lot of pressure by the payment processor companies. But also, who had the pressure on those payment processors companies to cut them off? Well, it's because of crazy, extreme feminist groups that are, and I hate to label them, and some people have said that this group called Collective Shout, and I'll be very honest, don't know much about them except for how people label them as this crazy feminist group, and that's what I know about this as well. But that's kind of the thing I see with loud screeching groups where they create the problem while the problem isn't there in the first place, and they make it to such that they dramatize that drama about protecting the kids, which I'm sure of you that whoever is maintaining a group like that, the way what's that Collective Shout and all these other safety groups, thinking that they are doing this for the better good, they are dead end backwards of their thinking. People are so out of their freaking minds, and all of that drama. And looking at it right now, this is why I do encourage for people to use a VPN as soon as possible. And like, look, I have nothing to hide. I'll tell you one thing too. But when it comes to my browsing and also all the regulations they're going to be putting, it is important now more than ever. Get a VPN going and browse safely instead of browsing openly naked. That way your IP address can be exposed. So what are you doing about that too? Come on now. Come on. Don't expose yourself quickly like that. You have the right to protect yourselves. And what was that? What's the news? Oh, and that's right. Look, it's looking pretty bleak now in the United Kingdom, where they're going to be planning on cutting VPN service to the UK, which God, UK, what the hell? Okay, now the part I want to go and move on a little bit is that will be, that's right. Gosh, what was I thinking? Oh, yeah, that's right. ID verification on other websites. So we're talking about next level insanity right there, everyone. Folks, I don't know about you, where I have to go in and show my ID where I'm what I'm doing to make a purchase, which is very bizarre. And the ID, when you're going out to a public bar or doing anything bureaucratic, let's say in the government office, I get if you have to give your ID in order to purchase alcohol or go out go out your way to you know who. But still, I'm just thinking now it is the best time to protect yourself. Forget about smart homes or none of the new crap that's been happening. Now, at this point, the way we're going about this at this time with verifications. So, even of the last 24 hours, which I've come to realize about now with YouTube, if you are in the UK, ID verification is mandatory to even access the basic websites like YouTube, Spotify. I mean, it's bonkers. Thinking, why do you need to listen to music? Have an ID, a government ID, just to listen to music on Spotify. It makes absolutely no sense, and this is why I'm not in favor of this. In which I've understand too is that Google is going to get this policy rolling on August 13th, which from other confirmations, what I've found out is if this goes through what they've initially said, I know that there's a lot of people fighting against this because they don't want to have their IDs verified. And look, I know this is such a whole new different world where people have to go out and put their government IDs, but a lot of people, they're saying it just like me. I'm saying just like everyone's thinking is, if that time comes where I have to go out and show my ID, just so I can watch videos or create content on YouTube, and so to me, my ass is going. I don't know where, but I'll tell you is that I'll be opening my options to another place where I don't need to verify my ID to any corporation. And first of all, that whole showing your ID is the biggest mistake. I mean, look at the T app on its own. That T app was spilt, and your information is spilt out of place. And if the person in charge on that app have put in security, this would have not happened. And it's real awful. It's a shame because everything got leaked. IDs, photo, messages, everything. And this is a lesson that even with these recent times, even what happened recently, that the tea was spilt. And you know what? And now everybody knows what's going to happen when you have the tea spilt out and there's no way to recover. It's really no way. Because once people find out that a big corporation like Google, which I doubt they even have the best security, because I don't know what, because I'm sure they have the money to invest in cybersecurity people. Look, Google is a pretty powerful company. Okay, they're what, over $1 trillion company like Apple is in their net worth. Still, it's just not an excuse to go out and find security to protect yourself instead of telling others that you need to have an ID. You need, in order to watch this video on YouTube, I need to see some identification. Nope, that's not gonna happen. I will not go out and show my identification to a private company. It's absurd. Now, the only time I would say that the only time anyone that had to show verification on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, that's if you are a content creator on YouTube. Unless if you are making videos all the time, creating content throughout YouTube, and unless if you're making income on YouTube, and then that's when you have to put your ID number and the basic information on the YouTube platform. But other than that, to have viewers put their ID, that's, come on now. We're not that stupid. Honestly, a lot of us are just not gonna buy into that too, because at some point we're gonna definitely see some content creators, or at least smart enough to say, okay, I'm gonna switch to the Odyssey platform, or I'm gonna switch to Rumble or something else at this point of time, because all of us are not fans of it too, and this is why I will be calling out and say sorry, goodbye. I guess my YouTube career is far from gone, or my content creation here on YouTube is far from over at this point. Now, while I did have talked about a lot about the UK in general, and as far as the things that's been happening, now I haven't talked much about the United States, and especially my home country. Now there are two bills I want to go ahead and mention right here in this topic while I'm at it. So the two bills, I would say, the crazy one I would say so far is this bill, which was introduced early back in February 26, 2025, and which was sponsored by Senator Mike Lee of Utah, Republican, which right there has been introduced earlier this year. Now, however, the Screen Act, now this is fun, quite wild. Now, do you think, what first of all, what is the Screen Act? So I'll just give you some context what this is about. So yeah, so just for some confirmation, so S 737, which here it says Mr. Lee, for himself, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Banks introduced the following bill, which was read twice and referred to the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. And so, down on the bill, a bill to require certain interactive computer services to adopt and operate technology verification measures to ensure that users of the platform are not minors, and for other purposes, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. So here's what the Screen Act means. So Section 1 short title, and here's what the Screen Act translates as. This act may be cited as the Shielding Children's Retinas from Egregious Exposure on the Net Act. Yeah, that's what the Shield Act means. Shielding children's retinas from egregious exposure on the net. I'm not even kidding you. So that's the short form of that title. And so you guys can just read this piece of bill, which I will tell you right there, though, I'm not going to go and go too much of it. Thankfully, this is quite short. This text right here is quite short. It's not super long compared to Session 1748, but this one, S737, is actually shorter compared to the other bill, which here it says Session 2, Finding Sense of Congress. And then let me just scroll right over there and just to tell you what's going on with this bill here. So the interesting part, let me read this part, Sessions 2, number 2. With the exception of the Children's Internet Protection Act, Title 17 of Division B of Public Law 106-554, the Supreme Court of the United States has struck down the previous efforts of Congress to shield children from pornographic content, finding that such legislations constituted a compelling government interest, but that it was not at least restrictive means to achieve such interests. In Ashcroft versus ACLU 542 U.S. 656 2024, the court even suggested that the time that blocking and filtering software could conceivably be a primary alternative to the requirements passed by Congress. Yeah, so that this is an interesting part. Now, let me go and read number 3. In the nearly 2 decades of since the Supreme Court in the United States suggests that the use of blocking and filtering software, such technology has proven to be ineffective in protecting minors from accessing online pornographic content. The Kaiser Family Foundation has found that filters do not work on 1 to 10 pornography sites accessed intentionally and 1 to 3 pornography sites that are accessed unintentionally. Further, it has been proven that children are able to bypass blocking and filtering software by employing strategic searches or measures to bypass the software completely. Okay, I'm going to have to say this right there because this is going to be very it's very deceptive right here with this bill. For one, look, the blocking filter software, even by 2 decades ago, while it may have not been perfect back then, but understand this is that, first of all, if you've gotten a blocking and a filtering software to install on your computer, this is one thing you've got to really find out that for the most part, if you add that into your child's device, like let's say an iPad or Android tablet, it's going to work just fine. And also on home computers too. As long as you know how to work on it, you can. And plus, Windows and Mac have filtering softwares too. And you can just set it up while they're browsing on the internet. I can't see why they can't just learn how to use filtering softwares in the first place. I mean, this makes absolutely no sense. And look, I remember back in the old days that I went through school computers. And back when I was in high school in the mid 2000s, I remember going through the school computers. And I will tell you is that the filtering softwares are actually very strong. And you can actually just go through the you can bypass the filters, but I can't say all of them too because all the proxies didn't work for most of them, because by the time the school's administrative computers found out about these proxies, they would block these websites right away. And the thing is that they do absolutely work, and that's the problem with bills like this, is that they think that they want to solve all these problems by passing bills and not enabling the parents to take care of their child. First of all, this is the parents' duty to take care of their own children, not the government. And so that's one thing I've have issue with the bill already. Face value on this one on S737. So yeah, that's what I have a problem with right off the start. So in continuing on, in session 4, they'll talk about the Pew Research and how it reveals studies showing that 39% of parents use blocking or filtering software for their minors' online activities, means that 61% of children only have restrictions on their internet access when they are at school or at the library. Okay, see, while that's I would say in part of that bill, probably the Pew Research is part of it is right there. The thing about this is that the schools and library filters have it for a reason, and they don't want people to be looking at content that they shouldn't be looking at right there too. So that's fine of its own, but the fact of the matter is that this bill right here of itself screams think of the children already. So and then let's see, one of the funny things here, and in fact, let me go over to session 9. If I can just scroll down, that's one thing I do remember here. And here it says, because blocking and filtering software has not produced the results envisioned nearly 2 decades ago, it is necessary for Congress to pursue alternative policies to enable the protections of the physical and psychological well-being of minors. First of all, hold the brakes right there. It is not the Congress to pursue alternative policies and enable protections. Well, you can protect the rights right there, and you have no responsibility as the government to be protecting our children. It's the parents. I will say that for parents listening to this podcast, you gotta learn how to be parents, and that's the issue of even today's society. And I'm tearing down parents, but the truth of the matter is that they do not go about it well on this too. And I hate to say it, but it is so damn true. And besides that too, when I was a teen, did a pair of titties scar me for life? No. At that point, you've got to realize is that you can't. Even though sure, parents, come on, look, you're not gonna have you can't have a total control of the child all the time. But the fact of the matter is that nothing is going to be perfect, okay? But then the problem with bills like actually the main one that's been sponsored by Mike Lee, S737, which it really tells you how much they think that this is their responsibility or the government's responsibility. No, it's not. First of all, this bill, and here actually it's kind of hilarious. So reading over session B, session 1 and session 2, sense of Congress. It is the sense of Congress that shielding minors from access to online pornography content is a compelling government interest that protects the physical and psychological well-being of minors, and number 2, requiring interactive computer services that are in the business of creating, hosting, or making available pornographic content to enact technological measures that shield minors from accessing pornographic content on their platforms is at least restrictive means for Congress to achieve its compelling government interests. No, and actually, you can no. That's not an interest that you should not be. Should be on your agenda. Forget about it. And because it's like the government should be going through other means. That's actually much more important than this, than just creating bills of protectionism. And also the key word right there, guys, is protectionism. You gotta remember, understand that you gotta be careful of what you bring to the table. In fact, if you end up agreeing upon this bill, even if it's for strong protectionism on bills like this, it's not gonna make the world any safer than it is. Not at all. So let's continue on session 3, definitions, which here they go and cover up right there, which here it says, okay, which I'm sure you guys probably will notice by now, and I'm not going to read too in depth on it. I would just say that taken into this bill, here it says number 4, harmful to minors. The term harmful to minors with respect to a picture, image, graphic, image file, film, videotape, or other visual depictions means that the picture, image, graphic image, file, film, videotape, or other description, A, taken as a whole and with respect to minors, appeals to the prurient interest in nudity, sex, or extraction. Okay. Number 2, depiction describes or represents in a apparently offensive way with respect to what is suitable for minors, an actual or simulate sexual act or sexual contract, actual or simulate normal or perverted sexual act or lewd exhibit of the genitals, and taken as a whole lacks serious literacy, artistic, political, or scientific value as to minors. B is obscene, or C is child pornography. And yeah, so that's what they are arguing about this too. So now going over, I think the most important one I believe is going to be number 5. If I go on and continue on this bill, number 5 here it says information content providers, interactive computer services. The term information, blah 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 blah. Okay, let me see what's the most important part about this bill. In fact, to digest further in, which is going to be number 8, one of my favorite ones, actually, believe it or not, in this bill, and this is the way they have in this language on this bill, and part about this is that you have to read this bill carefully, because if you do not watch out what you read, this bill will probably end up confusing you right there. And I would say that not everybody out there is going to go out and read a long ass bill, but this one right here on S737 is going to be important to follow up, because I'll tell you why in just a moment. So the session here is number 7 on technology verification measures. So part of this right here is very important, and here what they're implying is employs a system or process to determine whether it is more likely than not that a user of a covered platform is a minor, and B, it prevents access by minors to any content on a covered platform. Which, what they're talking about is, what they want to do here is have the technology measures, which meaning AI or some sort of technology to determine if you are a minor or not. And this is one thing I'm going to say with YouTube. YouTube is doing this exactly the same thing, right? They're implementing in the United States pretty soon, where if you look at the YouTube, they want to know what you've looked in the past on YouTube with that same account. Now, let's say if you checked up Roblox or any child, what do you call it, like child videos, whatever. But the thing is, though, YouTube may think that, and then they're going to determine if you are a child, right? But if AI is determining if you've checked up, who knows, hard videos or mature videos on YouTube, then YouTube is going to classify you as an adult. And that's a problem with these technology verification or AI machine learning, is that these machine learnings are not smart. They can't know everything about you. It's just ridiculous, because how can AI is going to find out? And because these measurements are not going to be perfect. AI is really stupid if you think about it too. They're just prediction machines thinking that they think they know what they're doing, but in reality, they have no clue what they're doing. And that is the problem I have right there. So I'm going to read on session 8, technology verification measure data. So let's read on to this, because this part is going to be very important. Here it says technology verification measure data. The term technology verification measures data means information that A, identifies, is linked to, or is reasonably linkable to an individual, or a device that identifies, is linked to, or is reasonably linkable to an individual. So they want to link all these things to you. So we're talking about identification, or these collective technologies wanting to link your and keep, basically they want to keep a biography about you. So that's centralization in a nutshell. And then B here, it says B is collected or processed for the purpose of fulfilling a request by an individual to access any content on a covered platform. And C is collected and processed solely for the purpose of utilizing a technology verification measures and meeting the obligations imposed under this act. So, yeah, this tells you about the flaws of this bill already. What they determined that what they want to do, what they want to cover bases. So yeah, you're talking about so much centralization, keeping this profile about you as an individual. So this bill, it has already flaws already. Looking into the bill, in this whole session, in fact, the session I've just read through to you guys was session 3, definitions. Yeah, it's already marked up as flawed. There's nothing good about this, and I don't like it already. Now let's read on session 4. Session 4, technology verification measures. Here on this bill, and Going over here, it's this is part I'm not liking one bit too. What they're talking about this bill is quite wrong. So let's read it together. Let's go over it, shall we? And then let's see. A cover platforms required beginning on the date, that is 1 year after the date of enactment of this act. A cover platform shall adopt and utilize technology verification measures on the platform to ensure that one, users of the cover platform are not minors, and two, minors are prevented from accessing any content on the platform, the cover platform that is harmful to minors. So they're using technologies like AI to know what is harmful, what is not. Yeah, pretty much. B, requirements for age verification measures. In order to comply with the measurement of subsections A, the technology verification measures adopted and utilized by cover platform shall do the following. 1. Use a technology verification measures in order to verify a user's age. 2. Provide that requiring a user to confirm that the user is not a minor shall not be significant to satisfy the requirement of subsection A. 3. Make publicly available the verification process that the cover platform is employing to comply with the requirements under this act. And now let's get on to section 4. So this one goes a little further. This part here on section 4, number 4, subject the internet protocol, the IP addresses, including a known virtual proxy network IP addresses of all users of a covered platform to the technology verification measure described in paragraph 1 unless the covered platform determines, based on available technology, that a user is not located within the United States. Interesting. So, okay. Yeah, so they want to know if you are located within the United States. So, isn't that something? How they want to do it. So, in this one, I'm going over. I'm thinking, how are they going to work this out? And this bill has its flaws. When you read it carefully, the language of this bill, you know that this is not going to work out too well. And so I'm going to read this part again too. Subject of the internet protocol addresses, including known virtual proxy network IP addresses of all users of covered platform to the technology verification measures described in paragraph 1, unless the covered platform determines, based on available technology, that a user is not located within the United States. Interesting. And it just tells you that this has majority of this has nothing to do with protecting the children. It's like how you're gonna do that too. So, and then C. So reading on C, choice of verification measures. A cover platform may choose the specific technology verification measures to employ for purpose of complying with subsections A, provided that the technology verification measures employed by the covered platform meets the requirements of subsection B and provides a minor from accessing the platform or any information of the platform that is obscene, child pornography, or harmful to minors. Yeah, this already tells you right there. But I know that this is not going to go well. I don't like what they are trying to do, and we all know what this bill is basically about. So going on, I think this F is actually going to be interesting. So I want to read on to F to all of you, so that way I can tell you one thing I don't like. Part of this bill here, it says F, technology verification measure data security. A covered platform shall 1. Establish, implement, and maintain reasonable data security. 2. A. Protect the confidentiality, integrity, and accessibility of technology verification measure data collected by the covered platform or a third party employed by the covered platforms. And B. protect such technology verification measure data against unauthorized access, and 2. Remain the technology verification measure data for no longer than the reasonably necessary to utilize a technology verification measure, or what is minimally necessary to demonstrate compliance with the obligations under this act. Ooh, yeah. So they want to know if that technology verification measure data against unauthorized access, they really want this bill to be passed, so that way they can have a lot more control over anyone else. Because they say that this is to protect the children, but if you read it further down below, which if you read sections 5, section 6, and the commission requirement, and then the enforcement right there, which I'm not going to go over because I don't want to go over this podcast further along than I have to, because that's just going to go over. I'm going to be going over this bill way too further longer than I have to, because very much so, if this gets through, I will not like it, nor will I ever like the next one, which the other one, if I can tell you this one, which is the bill 1748. This one is just as bad, because the first statement on this bill, which here it says to protect the safety of children on the internet, which, first of all, if you guys have the time, and I'm talking to anyone in the United States, please urge your Senate, urge your local House, let them know your concerns, tell them that that you oppose this bill, you do not want this, because I care about my privacy, and this right there, just let them know your concerns. But please, if you're gonna call, make sure you be nice up to the secretaries, because honestly, I'm sure that if they hear a ranting and raving, they probably will hang up the phone on you. But I did my due diligence. I called everyone in the state, and I would say that make your voices heard, make some noise, because at some point, the way the internet's gonna turn out, and it's not gonna look good coming up very soon. And if you don't take the action, then they're gonna do the work and seize your personal information. That's all I can say on this, because pretty much I'm very concerned with the open internet. It's just like every week we go over the news, and we find out more and more things about the open and free internet becoming more of a closed ecosystem of the internet now. But guys, do your due diligence, because it is absolutely important, more than ever, to get this going, because right now it's a good time to get things started early than later, because later on you may not even have a voice to say upon these issues. So do it, because that's just my warning to everyone in the United States. So and also to the rest of the world that's having these issues, I'm not going to cover it today, because I know I would say right out, the EU, I don't know what's going to happen, especially with the EU, because I know that thankfully we got medium-sized creators that are talking about these bills, but in a way, we're not seeing way too many larger creators like the PewDiePies or the Markipliers, or anyone that's actually very important on the YouTube sphere. But actually, interesting enough, like Boogie 2988 have talked about this issue. Well, I haven't watched him all the time, and I can't say I was a fan before, but ever since he's brought this issue up, I've actually watched his latest video, and one of the things he said is he's absolutely correct. And it's like what he even said about what's been happening is like, first of all, and he's said it really well. It's like they think that they can just go out and advise us and parent us Like, come on, this is a big nanny at its works already, and he's quite right. This is not what we wanted, and not what we want to see. The open internet being butchered out too, and also I'm not just talking about Spotify and YouTube in general. It's going to creep its way into other places like Wikipedia in the United States, for example, and other websites. They're going to take effect on this too. So, moving on forward too. Now, to end this podcast, I want to say for anyone that have stuck around quite a bit of time, thank you so much for sticking around for this whole hour. So wherever you are listening in U.S., Canada, UK, Australia, or anyone all over the world listening to this too, because I know it's going to creep in other countries at some point. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but guys, if you know things are about to happen to you, make it soon, because it won't surprise me later on that the government decides, hey, let's go ahead and start creating a social credit score like China is doing it with its countries. But it's neither here or neither there. So anyways, everyone, take care of yourselves and stay free and fight this through, because we all need people to fight this out. Have a good one.